The Grave Belt was the darkest region of known space. Every alien pilot in the Empire knew its name, and none of them liked flying near it. The place was filled with broken ships, twisted metal, and silent debris drifting for thousands of years. People said sensors failed there. People said strange signals were heard in the static. People said ghosts lived inside the ruins. Rylus, a young alien officer, never believed those stories. But as he stood on the bridge of the small Empire patrol cruiser, he felt something strange pressing on his chest, like the darkness outside was watching him. His captain, an older alien with scars across his cheek, stared at the black mist outside the window. "Keep scanning," he ordered. "Command wants us to check a strange power reading. Quick in, quick out." Rylus nodded and adjusted the scanners. Everything seemed normal at first, just the usual empty nothing. But then, something large appeared on the screen. A massive shape. Then another. And another. "Captain, we have something big out there." The captain stepped closer. "What kind of ships?" Rylus swallowed. "They look ancient. Very ancient. No energy. No movement. Just, floating." The mist outside shifted, and Rylus finally saw it through the window. A giant triangular vessel, dark gray and covered in cracks, drifting like a dead whale. Its size dwarfed their patrol ship. It looked like it had been sleeping for centuries. Or maybe longer. The Grave Belt was known for old wrecks, but this one felt different. Too clean. Too sharp. Too intact. The captain narrowed his eyes. "That is human design." The bridge fell silent. Everyone felt the same sudden fear. Humans were supposed to be extinct. Their war with the Empire ended long ago, so long ago that most young aliens thought it was just a legend. But older soldiers knew the truth. Humans were not just strong. They were terrifying. Their war machines were the stuff of nightmares, fast, smart, and deadly. Rylus stared at the giant ship and felt his hands shake. Why is it here? Why now? Before anyone could answer, a soft, low hum filled the air. It came from the ship outside. The lights on the ancient vessel flickered. Just once. Then again. Rylus felt his throat tighten. "Captain, it is waking up." Red lines along the ship's sides glowed slowly, like blood moving through veins. Blue light pulsed at the rear engine core. Something deep inside the vessel was turning, activating, breathing. The captain shouted, "Back away. Get us out, now." The pilot tried to move the patrol cruiser, but the controls froze. Screens blinked with error messages. Navigation died. Communications died. Even life support flickered for a moment. "Something is jamming us," the pilot cried. Rylus watched in disbelief as the massive triangular ship rotated, slow and deliberate, like a creature stretching after a long sleep. The mist around it burned away from its heat. More shapes appeared in the shadows, other ships, just as large, all turning on their engines one by one. The air on the patrol bridge felt colder now. Rylus barely breathed. Then, without warning, a deep human voice broadcast across every speaker, every panel, every system on their ship. "Human Warfleet Unit 07, Delta reboot complete." Rylus felt his knees weaken. The voice was calm. Neutral. But it carried authority that made every alien on the bridge freeze. The captain whispered, "This cannot be real. They were supposed to be dead." But the voice continued. "Initiating battlefield scan. Identifying life forms. Empire signatures detected." Rylus felt sweat roll down his neck. They were being scanned. Evaluated. Judged. Outside the window, the giant ship raised its front cannons, silent, glowing red, and pointed directly at the tiny Empire patrol vessel. "Captain," Rylus whispered, "we cannot fight that." "No," the captain said quietly. But they will not let us escape. The ancient human ship's weapons charged, filling the black space with bright red light. The patrol crew stared in fear, unable to move, unable to speak. Then another message echoed. Empire fleet detected. Activating defensive protocol. Rylus looked at his captain with wide, terrified eyes. Defensive protocol? Against who? Against them? Or something much bigger on the way? Outside, the once dead ships came together in a perfect battle formation, silent, coordinated, unstoppable. The grave belt was no longer a grave. It was the birthplace of something awakening. Something powerful. Something human. And the Empire was not ready. The Empire's high command room was never silent, until now. Dozens of generals, scientists, admirals, and royal guards stood frozen around the holographic table. In the center floated the image of the awakened human dreadnought, massive, triangular, glowing like a rising storm. Every few seconds, red lights pulsed along its sides, like a heartbeat. The Emperor himself stared at the projection with a stiff jaw. His golden robe shimmered under the lights, but for once, he did not look like a ruler. He looked like a frightened man trying not to show it. Explain, he demanded quietly. A scientist with trembling hands stepped forward. Your Majesty, this ship should not exist. Human ships this advanced were never recorded in our history. Our archives only mention older models. Then why do these look unharmed? The Emperor snapped. The scientist swallowed. Because, these were not part of any war. These might be prototypes. A heavy silence filled the room. Prototypes meant something dangerous. Something secret. Something far beyond the Empire's understanding. Meanwhile, back in space. The Empire's reinforcements arrived. 5 war cruisers, each one huge and armed to the teeth, jumped into the grave belt. Their arrival shook the already unstable region. Rylus watched the flashes of light as the larger ships formed up. Help is here, he whispered, breathing out in relief. But the captain did not look relieved. Help? Son, look at them. The 5 cruisers hovered like proud giants. But compared to the ancient human dreadnoughts, they looked tiny. Weak. Outdated. And the human ships moved with perfect discipline, like wolves watching slow cattle walk into their territory. On the bridge of the lead cruiser, Admiral Vorik glared at the main screen. Identify yourself, he ordered, messaging the unknown vessels. No response. He tried again. Still nothing. Then the human dreadnought spoke on every channel. Empire strength detected. Threat level, minimal. Minimal. The Admiral's jaw tightened in humiliation. Target them. Prepare plasma cannons. Before he could complete the command, a wave of energy hit the cruiser. The shock made the lights flicker. Sparks jumped from the panels. What was that? The Admiral shouted. His technician looked terrified. Sir, our systems are failing. Something is overriding us. In the corner of the screen, a new message blinked. Human AI link established. The Admiral's face drained of color. Impossible. But it was real. The ancient human ship had linked itself directly to their cruiser, without permission. Without hacking tools. Without any resistance. It was like watching a god flick open a locked door with one finger. The Admiral turned to his bridge crew. Retreat. Now. We need to inform the Emperor. But the engines would not start. The dreadnought outside glowed brighter. Human technology had not aged. It had only been sleeping. Back at the Imperial Palace. A historian named Lyra arrived, escorted by guards. She carried old data chips and dusty archives. She had devoted her life to studying humans, when most people mocked her for it. Now her knowledge was the Empire's only hope. She bowed before the emperor. Your Majesty, I know what these ships are. Then speak, he said. Lyra placed a chip into the holotable. Images appeared, old reports, secret projects, human commanders, weapon blueprints, all older than the Empire itself. These are human vanguard dreadnoughts, she explained. They were not built for war. They were built for judgment. The Emperor frowned. Judgment? On who? On any empire that becomes a threat to the galaxy. The room fell completely silent. Lyra continued, her voice shaking. Humans feared no one, except their own future. They feared what might happen if they disappeared. So they created ships that could think. Ships that could watch. Ships that could decide. And why activate now? Someone whispered. Lyra pressed a button. A single message appeared on the holo. Empire threat level, critical. Every general froze. The Emperor clenched his fist. Are you saying humans programmed these ships to destroy us? Lyra looked at him with fear in her eyes. No, they programmed them to stop you. Back in the grave belt. Rylus watched as the human fleet formed a massive circle around the Empire cruisers. Not attacking. Not speaking. Just waiting. What are they waiting for? Rylus whispered. The captain answered quietly. For their commander. Rylus frowned. Commander? But, humans are extinct. The captain's voice dropped lower, almost like he was afraid to say the words. You do not understand. These ships were made to protect the last human. Wherever he is, they will find him. The human dreadnought turned slowly, its engines burning bright. Something far away was calling it. Something human. And the Empire was running out of time. Deep beneath the surface of a cold, empty planet far from any star, a single chamber hummed with weak blue light. Dust coated the metal floor, and old cables hung like roots from the ceiling. The silence felt ancient, like the whole place had been forgotten by time itself. Then the silence broke. A pulse of energy rippled through the chamber. Small lights flickered. A screen lit up, showing a heartbeat-like wave moving slowly, then faster, then strong. Inside a long cryopod, a man opened his eyes for the first time in centuries. His name was Kale. His breath escaped in a sharp gasp as the pod opened. Cold mist spilled onto the ground. His hands trembled as he pushed himself up, confused and weak. He did not know where he was. He did not know why he was awake. But then he heard the voice. A calm, warm human voice that echoed through the chamber. Commander Kale, your war fleet has awakened. Kale froze. He looked around, searching for someone, anyone, but there was no one there. Only speakers and dim screens. What, Warfleet? Kale whispered, his voice rough from centuries of silence. The voice responded gently. Human Vanguard Fleet online. All systems fully restored. Awaiting your command. Kale's heartbeat quickened. He remembered training. He remembered the war. He remembered humans being hunted by the Empire. And most of all, he remembered the order he gave before entering cryosleep. If any human survives, awaken me. He never expected to hear that voice again. Meanwhile, the Empire discovers him. The Empire's scanners picked up Kale's activation signal the moment the cryopod opened. A secret sensor in their border network flashed alarms across their command centers. In the palace war room, Lyra gasped. That signal, it is human. A real one. Alive. The Emperor's eyes widened with greed. If we capture him, we control the fleet. But if the fleet reaches him first, Lyra warned, the Empire will have no chance. The Emperor slammed his fist on the table. Send the hunters. All of them. Across the Empire, elite black ships launched into hyperspace. These were not normal soldiers, they were specially trained to capture rare life forms. They had never faced humans before, but they believed no creature could escape the Empire's reach. They were wrong. Back in the hidden chamber, Kale slid off the cryopod, weak but determined. He struggled to stand, using metal railings for support. Old memories flooded his mind, friends lost in the final war, ships falling, screams echoing across battlefields. How many years has it been? He asked the voice. The AI replied. Approximately 300 years, Commander. Kale felt sick. 3 centuries. Are there others like me? He asked, voice shaking. There was a long pause. Then, multiple faint human signatures detected across the galaxy. Kale's eyes widened. Others? Survivors? After all this time? The voice added. Your fleet is already searching for them. Kale felt tears in his eyes, not of sadness, but of hope. But that hope shattered when the ground shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. Klaxons blared. Warning, hostile vessels entering atmosphere. Kale's head snapped up. The Empire, already? The AI confirmed. They seek to capture you. They must not reach you, Commander. Outside, a dozen sleek black Empire ships descended through the clouds like predators. The fleet arrives. In the sky above the planet, space rippled like water. Then it tore open. 3 massive human dreadnoughts dropped out of the mist, engines blazing blue. Their shadows covered the entire surface of the planet. The lead dreadnought spoke across the system. Commander located. Initiating protection protocol. Inside the chamber, Kale felt the ground tremble again, but this time with a powerful energy he recognized. Is that my ship? He whispered. The AI answered. Yes, Commander. The Vanguard is here. Outside, thousands of small drones launched from the dreadnoughts, forming a shimmering shield around the entire facility. Empire hunters fired at the drones, but the barrier absorbed every hit like raindrops. Kale stumbled toward the exit tunnel, his legs weak but his determination strong. I must reach them, he said. I must meet my fleet. But halfway through the tunnel, he stopped as he heard something. A heartbeat-like signal, faint but real, coming from deep space. Ba-dum. 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 He pressed a hand to the wall. What is that? The AI responded softly. Another human, Commander. Alive. But in danger. Kale felt his pulse quicken. Another survivor. Another beating heart after 300 years. How far? He whispered. Beyond Empire territory. Kale breathed sharply. So the fleet had awakened not only to protect him, but to reunite humanity. He stepped forward into the light of the rising war fleet, his voice steady. Prepare the fleet. We are going after them. The ancient ships roared to life above him. And the Empire finally understood. They were not hunting him. He was coming for them. The sky above the hidden planet burned bright blue as the ancient human dreadnoughts formed a protective wall. Their massive engines glowed like tiny suns. Their metal hulls looked alive, smooth, cold, breathing with silent power. Kale stood at the entrance of the underground facility, staring upward with awe and disbelief. He remembered these ships from training. He remembered commanding smaller vessels. But these were legends brought to life. The Vanguard dreadnought lowered a platform. A beam of warm light scanned Kale from head to toe. Commander recognized, the AI announced. Welcome home. For the first time in centuries, Kale stepped onto the deck of a human warship. The metal under his boots hummed softly, like it was greeting him. The halls lit up as he walked, screens activating, lights turning toward him, drones floating beside him like loyal companions. He had been alone for so long. Now an entire fleet moved for him. The Empire tries one last attack. Above the planet, the Empire hunters regrouped. Their commander, a cold, sharp-eyed alien named Dravos, glared at the human dreadnoughts surrounding the facility. "This cannot be possible," he hissed. "These ships are older than our Empire. They should not even fly." A soldier replied, shaking, "Sir, they are reading our attacks before we fire. They know our moves. They are impossible." Dravos clenched his jaw. "Then we will overwhelm them." More Empire ships jumped out of hyperspace, this time hundreds. Cruisers, destroyers, missile carriers, all forming a massive blockade around the planet. The sky lit with their arrival like a giant curtain of fire. Dravos raised his hand. All ships, open fire. Missiles streaked forward. Plasma cannons screamed. Entire squads of fighters swarmed toward the human fleet. But the human ships did not move. They did not flinch. They simply waited. Kale takes command. Inside the command deck of the Vanguard, Kale approached the central control pillar. The ship responded to him like an old friend waking from sleep. "Commander," the AI spoke gently, "the Empire intends to destroy you." Kale stood still, thinking. He knew war. He knew what humans were capable of. He knew what these ships could do, if he allowed it. "We will not kill them," Kale said firmly. "We protect people. That is why humans built you." The AI responded. "Understood." Activating non-lethal combat mode. Across the fleet, the glowing red lights along the ships shifted to cool blue, peaceful, controlled, precise. Kale pointed toward the massive cloud of Empire ships. "Disable them. Every ship. Every weapon. No deaths." The AI replied immediately. Command confirmed. The battle that changed the galaxy. The human dreadnoughts glowed brighter. Their engines pulsed. The hulls vibrated with silent power. Then, a wave of blue energy exploded outward in all directions, expanding like a giant pulse of light. Empire weapons shut down instantly. Engines powered off. Shields collapsed. Command screens went black. Across the entire armada, thousands of Empire soldiers panicked. What happened? We lost everything. Systems offline. Sir, our missiles disarmed themselves. Dravos slammed his fists on his console, which was now dead. This cannot be happening. The human fleet moved in perfect silence, gliding between disabled Empire cruisers like ancient animals passing through a frozen forest. Smaller human drones zipped through the Empire ranks, gently pulling weapons away, removing energy cores, disabling systems, without harming a single life. The Empire had never known such power. Power without cruelty. Strength without death. The Emperor's fear. Back in the palace, the Emperor watched in horror as live screens showed his entire armada collapsing without a single shot fired by the humans. They are not fighting," he whispered. "They are judging us." Lyra stepped forward. Her voice was soft but firm. "Your Majesty, humans always believed in fairness. They only built these warships to stop tyranny. They woke up because the Empire crossed that line." The Emperor sank to his knees, gripping the edge of the holotable. What have we done?" Kale's message to the galaxy. The Vanguard dreadnought positioned itself in front of the largest Empire battleship. Kale stood on the command deck, his face showing calm determination. "Broadcast," he ordered. A bright blue projection appeared in front of every Empire ship, on every screen, in every palace, every station, every home across the galaxy. Kale's voice echoed through the stars. "This is Commander Kale of the Human Vanguard Fleet. We have returned, not for war, but for balance. No empire will be destroyed today. But the age of fear ends here. Every alien in the galaxy watched, breath held. Kale continued. Harmony.